Welcome to the Beyond the Vines podcast, where I interview local business owners in Sonoma County to highlight small business and grow our community. I'm your host, Amy Ehlers, a mom, realtor, and Sonoma County native, and I'm excited to connect you to some amazing people in this beautiful area that we call home. Welcome back to the Beyond the Vines podcast. Thank you again for tuning in and listening. I have an episode today that I think is going to be really enlightening for all of us, of some things going on with the county, and I'm just really excited to bring this to you today. So I have Shelina Moreda. She is with Moreda Valley Dairy and Moreda Family Farms, and I'm going to let her tell us a little bit more about herself before we dive into the interview. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so cool. I love that you have such a cool local podcast. It's
Thank you.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Thank you. I feel like I meet the most interesting people. It's so fun.
And such interesting people around this area, right?
Really do.
So yeah, good for you for doing that.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about both the family business, but also what you do also with racing. So if you want to tell a little bit more about that.
Well, the family business is kind of what got me into racing. I'm a professional motorcycle racer, as you know.
Wow. Yeah.
I've raced all around the world, which is a lot of fun for me. I've gotten to see a ton of places. I've raced in China, Japan, Qatar, France, Italy, Spain, kind of like all over the place.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I get to go do like press launches at those places and everything. It's really it's been an exciting career path for me. I landed cover girl, so I'm a cover girl model and commercials.
Oh, that
for real.
Wait, hold on, we have a cover girl.
What, alongside Katy Perry, nonetheless.
Yeah, I have to like wow, we have a celebrity. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm working on that part. You're helping with that.
Totally. I'm happy to be. You heard it first. I'm Beyond the Vines.
But really, what got me into that was being raised on the ranch. You learn how to work hard on the ranch. You learn a lot about like being ethical and just like putting yourself out there and consequences, which you need to know in racing as well. And so like that really helped me to launch my career. My parents always told me that I could do anything that I wanted to do in life as long as I was willing to work for it. And so so it's their fault. I remind them all the time when they complain about my career. It's their fault I became a racer. But it all started on the ranch, bringing the cows in from the fields. Mm-hmm. We would ride ranch quads, and I loved motorcycles, and we'd have to bring the cows in slowly because you don't want to run them, Yeah. You don't want to make milkshakes.
Right. And I love that. Now that's gonna be my visual. What I feel like, although I don't see cows running very often.
Oh, they actually like to run. Yeah. Cool. They'll play around and jump and everything. But you want them to be not stressed. And so on the quads, I would figure out tricks to do while I was cruising behind them slowly, So I'd be up on two wheels or doing wheelies, stuff like that. And it just really created a passion for motorcycles for me.
Yeah.
And because I had that strong work ethic on the ranch, I knew nothing could be harder than working on a farm. So
yeah, I mean, really, truly.
Yeah. My dad works harder than anybody that I know,
to me,
legitimately. So that's really what launched it. And I've got very strong connections to the dairy because of the way that we were raised.
Yeah.
It's a true family farm. And so you help each other out. At 2:00 in the morning when I break my brother's water pipe, didn't happen last month or anything. It's me and my dad fixing the water pump and rerouting things, and digging it up literally until 2:00 in the morning. And so that's what a true family farm looks like.
Yep.
And I love it. And even when I'm off jet setting around the world, I come back and this is home for me. And I get to help out on the ranch. And I say get to because I don't get paid for it. So it's because I want to.
I love it.
It is.
Yeah.
I truly love it. There's nothing else like living on a farm.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So how did both Moreda Valley Dairy and Moreda Family Farms, how did both start? Like, what's the history?
Well, the history is kind of interesting. Back 125 or so years ago, family came over from Portugal, the Moredas.
There, okay.
It was Moreira. Okay.
Say that again.
Moreira.
Got it.
And it got changed in the school.
Dang.
Yeah, to Moreda.
Wow.
Because the teachers didn't know how to say it in Portuguese.
Enough.
So they came over here looking for a new life like everybody else, They were my great fifth generation. So how many ever greats that is? Yeah. Great grandfather came over here and was working for a farm in Sonoma County in Petaluma.
Wow.
And worked his way through and ended up buying that same farm. And so it's kind of a neat thing that we came over as total immigrants, and he really just had a vision that he wanted to make a life here for his family. And
Beautiful.
it's neat because we even have old articles about our family about how they were exceptional in working together. They liked being around each other more than most. I think our family is pretty fun. Yeah.
Yes.
And always has been. And so it's like, it's neat because that shows you like the togetherness that farms bring to families.
Yep.
And I think that a lot of that is forgotten nowadays. Farming is it's like Formula One, right? Like nobody gets to see the inside view of it.
Right.
And so farming is that way, and that only if you're a farmer do you know like what that really feels like.
Right.
I wish that wasn't the case. Like I think it would be really nice for people to be more connected to their food, you know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But so the dairy starting out, 125 years ago, to get back to your questions, right?
No, I love this. Yeah.
It started then, and I've grown up on the dairy. My family's always worked on the dairy. And then when COVID hit,
Right.
people couldn't get milk
Right.
or eggs
Mm-hmm.
or cheese off the shelf.
That was huge.
Yeah, and we started getting phone calls to see,
Oh, wow.
yeah, can we get milk from you guys? Well, it's not legal actually for us to sell milk to the public. We can't do it.
Right.
It needs to be processed.
Right.
Yeah. And so we were stressing out because the community's not getting milk. We had a surplus of milk because everything was shutting down. The supply chain was shutting down.
Wow.
And my racing got shut down. I was traveling overseas, didn't travel overseas anymore.
Nope.
And I'm,
What a change for you.
yeah, I'm not the type to sit around bored.
Totally.
And so I bought a tiny creamery,
Wow.
like tiny, not pasteurizer, low temperature, old fashioned.
Oh,
Okay.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Moved it to Moreda Valley Dairy, moved it onto the farm, and we just started bottling milk. And we did doorstep deliveries
That is so.
for people all around Sonoma County.
I remember that. Actually, now that you're saying it, yes. It is so cool.
It was
okay.
It was really neat, and for me, it was a lot of fun to bring the community together. We would have people come and pick up the milk on the farm, and I kept hearing how people, they would keep on saying, it's so nice to feel connected to my food. And I was like, what does that mean?
Well, because you always have been connected to your food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I really didn't understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so many people said that exact same phrase that I was like, well, there's something to this after, the fifth or sixth time that I heard the same thing. And I started recognizing, like, really, I started thinking about the disconnect that we have from our food system and like where our food is sourced.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that creates like unrest, and like in us as humans, we want to know where our food comes from. I think that, we want to know that it's sustainable, it's done right, that the animals are treated well.
Absolutely.
And we don't have that ability anymore, And so it was a red flag for me. So, but that's why we started Moreda Family Farms. Yeah.
That's amazing. And it's still, even though COVID's over, it's still going.
Yeah. So I have actually slowed down my role on the creamery because racing is bad.
Yeah.
And
that is your primary.
Yes. And the last 2 years I've been sponsored by Ducati, racing on the factory team. So
Amazing.
yeah, it's been,
So
I had to focus a bit more.
Yeah.
We did run it just at a smaller scale after COVID. So because it is nice for people to be able to have that. Yeah. Old fashioned connection.
Yep. Yep.
So.
Wow. So can you explain some of the organic methods you use on the farm and how they benefit the environment, the animals, the dairy, all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny because we call it organic now.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of how we've always done it.
Right.
People have a bad vision in their head when you say antibiotics. They forget that penicillin, like something as simple as penicillin, is an antibiotic.
Yeah.
And so it is, in my opinion, it is important for those animals to get that if they need it.
Right.
We've been lucky. We have a conventional dairy that we've been able to, we could treat the animals and send them that way.
So, okay.
And people also don't recognize that there's no milk that ever goes in the system that will ever have antibiotics. People don't know that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there's withholding periods. But that wasn't your question. Your question was about our organic, how we do it.
I love your
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Well, and we get paid extra for our organic milk, but like I'm here to say that conventional milk is not so bad as what everybody thinks it is.
Interesting. Okay.
Some of the cool things that organic does do that I think are much better is that, for instance, our animals are mandated that they have to be on pasture for most of the year,
Right.
which is that's how cows are supposed to be raised, in my opinion. And so,
Yeah.
like I think that is a good thing, right? The cows do not get treated with antibiotics ever, ever, ever.
Wow.
The hay and grain has to be raised organic as well. All right.
Okay, that makes sense.
So everything going into and out of the farm is all organic.
Got it.
And so that part is great. It also, I think it makes us be more aware of the things that we're putting into the land because you're not allowed to spray for usually any pesticides, herbicides, anything. And to me, that's part of taking care of the land.
Yeah.
And so it has benefited us in that way. We do have, organic stuff that we can use to treat the animals so they're not getting sickly and dying.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we make sure our girls are taken care of,
Yes.
But it does make us really treat things in a more natural way. And so, I like that.
Yeah. I love that. That's amazing.
Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you. What's kind of a typical day at the farm?
At the farm? Oh, man. Okay, so the guys start milking at 2:00 in the morning. And so you'll see like the flashlights going around to get the cows in. And it's real quiet out on the farm. So at 2:00 in the morning, if you listen, you can hear them. They're calling for the cows. And as soon as they start calling for the cows start walking in from out in the fields. Yes, as they want to. Animals like interaction with humans. Okay, we see that with dogs and cats. Okay, absolutely. Cows are not so different. They're a lot bigger.
Wow.
But every day they get handled by the milkers. They get grain when they come in the barn. They get excited. Yeah, they start walking in on their own. And you hear the milkers calling, "Hey girls, come on, Marcus, let's go." Yeah, and so that's how it starts out at the dark 30, right?
Yep.
And then at about 5:00, the quads will start bringing milk over to the baby calves. And the calves know when it's feeding time, and they start bellowing, and they know their feeders. They like them,
How cute.
So that goes on at about 5:00 in the morning, and as the day goes on, all the cows get fed. Like it's just all the daily chores. The milk tank fills up, big old milk truck pulls in.
Okay.
Feed truck will pull in. The things that I do on the ranch because I'm usually hopefully I'm off racing.
Right. If I'm here.
But when I do a lot of like, if there's emergencies on the ranch, if there's baby calves that are sick, if there's, I do the research if we can't figure something out.
Yeah.
And so I'll be on the phone with like universities and vets that are high up. So I get to me, that's the fun stuff.
Yes. That's amazing.
So that's like my portion of it. If the cows get out, that's also my job.
To get them back in.
Oh yeah, you don't want cows on the road.
No, you don't.
and they love to get out. Cows are
so funny.
They're like the Houdini dog, the Houdini dog that gets out of your backyard all the time.
Back in.
You just they know cows are herd animals. Yes, and so you herd them like a shepherd herds sheep, kind of.
Yep,
totally. The cows are a little smarter than sheep.
Are they?
Don't tell any sheep people that.
Maybe cut that. Maybe cut that part out. That means the sheep people need to come on. Maybe.
Yeah, they can defend themselves. There's some person come on and defend themselves. Totally. Needs more local.
Yeah, right. That's amazing. That is so great. So, and that kind of speaks to how you ensure the health and the well-being of the cows too, is the research part that you put into it.
Oh yeah, and not just me. I mean, every farmer puts so much time into the well-being of the animals because I say it like this, okay? Cows are female.
Yeah.
If you don't do what they want, and if you don't keep them happy and stress-free, they are not going to do what you want them to do
at all.
They're female,
right? Exactly.
It's totally how we operate, right? And so we do our best to keep the cows stress-free. We want them to be happy. Like you've seen the Happy Cows commercial, right? Those
California,
Sonoma County cows, right?
Yeah.
And so, we study things like there's actually an industry term called cow comfort. and it is keeping the cows comfortable. And we study the things that can keep the cows more calm and more happy. When a cow's laying down and chewing her cud, it's called, they only do that when they're not stressed. And that's part of their digestion process.
Yes.
So you have to keep them chilled.
Totally.
Yeah. And so my dad will go, and like one of the things that we do for cow comfort,
Yeah.
we will mix their bedding up. We have these big loafing barns, they're called.
Okay.
A loafing barn is because they go around and they like to loaf around in the barn.
Funny.
They have their bedding out there,
Wow.
and then they have their feed stanchions that they go and they can walk around. These are like, they're huge barns. They're like the size of football fields, you know, and so it's not some confined area like people think.
Totally.
They go around, they loaf around, and my dad will mix their bedding, and then he'll mix one mixture in one side and another mixture in the other side. He'll literally go and he'll count how many cows are laying down on one side versus the other. And he goes, that's the one that they like better if there's more cows laying down on that side.
Yeah.
And so then that's what we use for all the barns. So we really study the cows and like how they react and interact with the things that we're doing for them.
That's amazing.
It's important. This is stuff that like I don't think people realize, because it's stuff that we've been taught since my grandfather's grandfather's grandfather that was back in Portugal doing this, right?
Right.
And like my dad literally watches the cows up on the hill or out in the pasture to see where they're eating, because when they stop eating in this area, he knows it's time to move them, you know? And we do the rotational grazing thing. You have to keep the land good, right? Right. So the land fertile.
Right.
And so like these are things that we get passed on, and to us it's maybe more common sense.
Yep.
But people don't know. They don't have a way to know that this is what goes into keeping your cows happy in Sonoma County.
Right.
Keeping your milk a high quality milk, because the happier the cows, the higher the quality of the product.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So, yeah. Sorry, that needs too much information.
No, it wasn't. I just, all these things I've never even thought of. Like, really, I drive by and I see the cows, and like my kids are always like, oh, cows, you know? Yeah. I haven't thought of any of this. So this is I love this. Thank you.
I think that it's really nice that you don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Because to me, that means that we're doing a good job. Totally. Like if we're making it look easy, then we must be doing something right.
Right.
So I want your kids to just enjoy the majestic looking cows out in the field.
Yes.
I think they're majestic.
They really are, though.
They're beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing. So can you explain to us a little bit, Measure J? It's a big hot topic right now.
Ooh.
Definitely, I'm sure, affects your family.
Yeah. So of course you would ask about that.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more what it is, and also how it's affecting you and other local farms?
Yeah, no, I'm really glad that you brought it up, because it's a really important thing for Sonoma County, and it's not just important for us as farmers. It is something that will fundamentally change the way that we live in Sonoma County. Right. And we will lose rolling hills, the pasture lands that the cows are on. We'll lose local food. People don't realize that, and part of the reason that they don't realize it is the stuff that we just talked about, right? Like farmers are quiet people. They're not getting out and discussing these things with the public. And we're disconnected from our food, right? But I think that it's a really important thing for the community to get behind, because there's only 54 dairies left in Sonoma County.
Wow.
Yeah, there used to be 800. Okay.
Wow.
Back in like the butter and eggs days. There was 800. And so to have only 54 now, you can see that it's endangered. We're the new endangered species. Okay. And so
it's scary.
And if you think about that, 54 families, they're all family owned. Yep. 54 families cannot talk to the 482,000 people that are in Sonoma County. It's not possible. And so this is something that we really need to compel the community to stand behind the farmers. Because otherwise it's not just Measure J. This is much bigger than Measure J, and it's going to keep coming,
right?
And pushing the farms out. We're getting attacked from all different angles right now,
right?
And the thing that people don't recognize, well, they don't have a way to even know about this, right?
Right.
People are like, I thought it was a factory farms bill. Totally, because that's what they're selling it as. There's no factory farms in the county.
Isn't that crazy?
You just drive out the back roads.
I mean, like I was just telling you, we see all the cows.
Yeah.
Just on a drive to school, we see a million cows
literally on pasture
around. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's being marketed as, shut down factory farms. But what it's going to do is it's going to kill all the farms. The biggest farms in Sonoma County are still 1/3 of the size of the average in California. We're the smallest.
Recently, that's interesting.
The smallest in the state.
Yeah. Wow.
And so it's really, really rough. And so we really genuinely need the community to go, you know what? We like our rolling hills. We like our local food. And we love seeing the happy cows on the hills.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to get these people out of here. They're not people from Sonoma County that are pushing this legislation.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're aiming here.
Where are they from?
From Berkeley.
Okay. So they don't live in Sonoma County.
No, they don't live in Sonoma County, and they have an agenda that they want to, I mean, this isn't private information. It's on their website. They want to end animal agriculture by the year 2040.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's much bigger than just getting rid of a few farms in Sonoma County.
Yeah.
What they want to do, they're hitting here because here is one of the only places where farms are so integrated with the community.
I see. Okay.
And so they could win it here. And if they've set a precedent here,
Yep.
Their goal, they've said this is not me, they've said this out loud, their goal is to take this across California.
I see.
And then across the United States. All they need to do is set a precedent here. If they can shut down the smallest farms in California, it's easy to shut down all the other guys.
Yeah, because you're so much smaller than the larger farms in California.
And it's funny, though, because, so last weekend, I was at the track. I did a track day with Aprilia, so that was a lot of fun. My very first track day with them.
Amazing.
At that track day, there was some of these people that are part of this, pushing this legislation.
I see. Okay.
And I'm of the mindset that my mom has always taught me, communication is key.
Yep.
Okay? I don't believe that people do things with the intent that thinking that they're doing something bad.
Right.
I believe that people do things thinking, that they have good intentions.
Yep.
And so I was nervous to talk to them.
Totally.
But I did. I sat down with them and I was like, maybe we can find some common ground here. You guys want small farms. You want animals taken care of. We both like here.
Yeah.
Both like motorcycles. We both like animals. There's got to be some common ground here.
For sure.
And what they were telling me is that they thought they're the ones that are backing this. They themselves thought that this was going to shut down the big corporate farms.
Interesting.
And I'm like,
right here.
Yeah, I'm a motorcycle racer, and I come home and work on the ranch because my mother and father would whoop me hit my nose.
Exactly.
Obligated.
Totally.
Yeah, that's what family business is. And so it was a really cool conversation. Actually, it was a really interesting conversation. I got to show them pictures of our cows on pasture and tell them a little bit about the family history.
Awesome.
And maybe there's ways to work to promote the smaller farms and that are doing the right thing. They're doing the right thing. Yeah. That's another thing that people forget is I have to vote with your dollars. Instead of just not buying dairy, buy dairy from the little guys.
There you go.
Find the smallest creameries that you can get milk.
Yeah. And support
them. With Measure J, we would lose Clover. We would lose Strauss.
Yep.
Those are our locals. Yeah.
Yep.
Clover would Clover would probably just go to bigger dairies.
Right.
We not go under, but all of Strauss's dairies would be out.
Yeah.
Wow. Moreda Family Farms would be out.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And we're on the little list. So, yeah. So I think it's very, very important to get the conversations open because of that,
Yep. Well, and I think most people in Sonoma County know a farmer, right? So think about who you know. Do you think no? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think?
Yeah. We say our family, I don't know. That's a good point, though.
I mean, we say that, right? We're always ask a farmer.
Right.
But, if you really, how do you guys know a farmer?
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
And also, if you know a farmer, farmers are more quiet, so they don't talk about it a lot. So, you just saying that. So I'm going to segue here.
Yeah, please.
We just started an organization called Communities for Food and Family Farms.
Cool.
And our whole mission here is to unite the community with farmers.
I love that.
Because there's not enough communication.
Yeah.
And so, we saw a need for it. Hopefully we can fill that need.
Yeah.
And start introducing people to farmers. Because, I don't know, genuine question here. How many of you know farmers? Because
in thinking about it, I know farmers' children, I guess, for my generation.
Yeah.
But not the actual,
Yeah, totally. And a lot of them know about the farm, but don't talk about it as angry because they're racing in other stuff.
Racing countries. Right. For sure.
But
That's so true.
I think that, that's what creates the disconnect. And so if we don't have those conversations and like teach the little kids where your milk comes from, they think it comes from the store, you know?
Right.
They don't know that a chicken lays an egg every day.
Right.
How could they?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that it's a natural thing. You don't do anything to make chickens lay eggs. It would be cruel to not let them lay eggs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's so funny. It's so true.
Yeah, I'll tell you more about that, the rest of that off camera.
I do.
Yeah, the details of chickens laying. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. So awesome. So, okay, so let's say Measure J passes, which I recently saw like everyone, Petaluma City Council all voted against it, correct?
Yeah, because everybody sees the danger.
Yeah. So I think that's important to put out there. Specifically, it would affect you in that you would get shut down.
Yeah, I mean, our farm is top on the chopping block.
Yep.
But the thing that, and I mean, you can see that's a picture of our cow on pasturing there, and they're quite happy, and so
Really cute.
right. Thanks. That is Nikki and Cameron and the cow.
To meet that cow.
But it's like, you know, if it passes, we're out. Okay, we're shut down. And then and the thing is that this is a nonpartisan thing. You just said that the entire city council, the board of supervisors, all unanimously are against this. Okay, you're seeing people left and right. The Sonoma County Democrat Committee just stood up against it. Young Dems stood up against it.
Yeah.
The Republican Committee just stood up against it. Everybody is saying together, because this is Sonoma County. This is who we are. This is a cultural history. Like this is everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Who we are as a community is standing up against it. And the thing that people don't understand is that if we go out of business, every other farm is going to lose their resources. We're already the endangered species.
Yeah.
Okay. The thing that happens is that this doesn't help the little guys. Even the littlest, the cow that you like on here, that's from one of the smallest farms in Sonoma County. They're vehemently against this because this will shut them down as well. They will lose veterinarians. They'll lose granaries. They'll lose everything.
I mean, it's a trickle effect to all of Sonoma County.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And then what happens?
Yeah.
If the land isn't sustainable as agriculture,
Right.
it's going to get developed.
Right. That's a very good point.
So instead of seeing all these nice, lush, rolling hills, they're going to be dotted with massive houses. And it's not going to be little, they're not going to, out there on all those pastures, it's going to be a few massive houses and they're going to make bank off of it.
Right.
But we're not going to benefit from it. Like as a community, we're not going to benefit from it.
Yep.
We might make a lot more money selling the land than we would farming, but that is not what we want to do. No, we are passionate about farming. We want to keep the land in farming, preserve the land. That's what farmers do. That's how we survived we're into the 6th generation now, you know, our brother and sister's kids. We want them to take it over.
For sure.
And so the only way to do that is keep it alive.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
keep rotating the crops. Keep the land fertile. Keep planting the corn. Keep having the cows on the land. Watching where they're eating so that we can move them to the next place. So that's the way to do it. You know, we keep the way that we farm. You asked about organic earlier. The way that we farm keeps the streams clean.
Totally.
Like there's fish in our lagoon that we've got. You know, and they come back every year. Even though the lagoon dries up every year, the fish come back because the way that we do things really keeps it very, very sustainable. So let's keep it that way. That's part of Sonoma County and who we are.
The culture here, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
everything are. When people drive through here, you've probably heard us.
Yeah.
When people drive through here, the marketing director of Ducati was out here filming. He brought a bike up to film with Challenge Butter, actually.
Amazing.
Because it's a nice area to film commercials at.
Definitely.
He drove through our town.
You like? We live in a grinders place. We have a lot of commercials here.
When he drove through town, he said to me, wow, I feel like I just got transported to a time when families connected with each other. He's like, this is like the 1950s when you drive through here. There's nothing like it.
Totally.
And I was like,
on movies too.
Yeah. But for me, we're raised here.
So used to it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We take it for granted, right?
Yep. I have this conversation with my kids on purpose. I'm like,
Oh, do you?
well, like not everybody drives past vineyards like this. Not everybody has rolling hills like this. Like, and when we travel, I point that out. I totally do. And we talk about the animals in that way for that same reason, because I don't remember appreciating it as a kid at all. Really? Yes. And so for them, I want to point out, like, how lucky are we to live here?
I love it.
It's so important. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Because I took it all for granted for sure.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't wait to get out of Petaluma. And I'm like, I didn't never leave.
I have traveled the world, and I am here to say it's not true. Yeah, it's the best. And oh man, when you come over the hill and you see all the fog settling around Petaluma, and all of Sonoma County is this way, and it's mind blowing.
Really, it really is. Yeah,
we do totally take it for granted.
Yeah, we do. So lucky. So what can people do to support the local farms?
Oh man, first thing is talking about it, trying to connect with your local farmer. I think that communication is key, like my mom says.
Love that.
Talking to the local farmer is super, super important. We've just started our nonprofit Communities for Food and Family Farms. People can look that up. That would be helpful. I think, with the Measure J thing happening right now is a big deal is to tell people about it. That this isn't just save family farms. This is save Sonoma County. If you like our way of living here in Sonoma County, you've got to tell people about this.
Right.
These are people from change for everybody. These are people from outside of our area that want to change the way that we live.
Yeah.
Maybe they're a little jealous of the way that we live.
Especially after we just described it, I'm sure they.
Yeah. They can, if people want to help, they can follow us on Instagram, shoot me a message. We will put people to work. We would love volunteers.
Okay.
Like we need to do all the things, not just for Measure J, but beyond that.
Yeah. Get after this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys want to know about farms, send me a message.
I love that.
Hit me up on Instagram. Yeah. Let's get people back connected with their roots.
I love that.
And who we are as a community, so that we can stay this way. If you like it, if you like Sonoma County,
yeah.
If you like the way that it is,
yeah.
And we're not about restricting change. We are very progressive dairy farm. Yes, we do things that are the cutting edge. We're the first county that ever went organic. We're the first county to be going regenerative. We're the first county to do a bunch of the things that are the cutting edge of farming.
Yeah.
So we're not anti-change.
Right.
We just want to keep the
overall culture of Sonoma County.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, hit me up if people want to help out in some way. Contact me, reach out, and I'll get you in touch with a farmer.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send you videos of farmers talking about how they farm and why they farm. I will get them to talk. The farmers don't like to talk.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Well, they think that farmers are very much like racers in this. Okay, racers think if I just go fast, then I'll get the sponsorships, I'll get the ride. Farmers are very much like, if I just take care of my animals well, if I just do good at farming.
Yeah.
That's what farmers think.
Yeah.
Is that's all I need to do.
Yeah.
But that's outdated. We also need conversation.
For sure. Because people don't understand all that goes into it.
And they want to. Right now, right now, people understand our food system's messed up. Yeah, we're all about farm to table, help keep things local, keep things food sovereignty, and all those things are so important right now. It's that's what makes it the craziest time for something like Measure J.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's really interesting.
At a time when we're moving toward being smaller and being local.
Yeah.
It would push us directly in the opposite.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Think about that. Yeah, that timing's very interesting.
Right?
What does working on the family farm mean to you personally?
To me personally, that's such an interesting question. Well, to me, it's everything. To me, working on the family farm is my roots. And so I feel very, very connected with the land and the animals. I will, if I'm ever stressed out in my head and just overthinking things, I will literally just go walk out in the field and just be.
Yeah.
Because you get grounded by being out there. I'll go and be around the animals. They're healing.
Yeah.
Not to sound woo or anything like that, but
yeah,
they are, and nature is. And so for me, it's a connection that I make sure that I don't take it for granted, because it can go on like that.
Yep.
Okay. But for me, I go and I do the hustle and bustle, and I love the red carpet events, and I love racing in different countries and, meeting people and going 180 miles an hour. I love doing all of those things. But when I think about like, what do I love most? And it's the farm.
Yeah.
And it's my roots, and it's feeling connected to my family.
Wow. Yeah.
I talk to my parents. I go hang out with my parents almost every night because we live on the ranch,
Amazing.
And so for me, it's everything. I had to really think about this actually with this Measure J thing, because my racing season is right now.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I called Roland Sands. He's the main sponsor for the series that I run. And I was like, hey, I have this big thing going on. They're trying to shut down family farms, and I'm not sure that I can put the effort into the team this season. And I'm trying to sort out what to do. And I don't want him to think that I'm not living up to my potential there and working hard. And I was nervous calling him, and he said to me, I couldn't believe it. He was like, Shelina, this is what you have to do. This is everything. This protects everybody, not just you farmers. He's down in Southern California, and he was like, I need you to do this. And he and he literally asked me, he's like, what can I do to help you? Like, dude, this guy's like a world famous motorcycle guy, right? Like, and he's, what can I do to help it? Because food systems are so important.
Yep.
So for me, I had to say, I'm willing to put my racing career on hold for a few months here, right? Because if I leave and I come back and my family farm is gone, and my dad has lost everything that his generations ahead of him have worked for, I couldn't live with myself. Literally couldn't live with myself.
No, it sounds like you made the right choice. You felt
had to. It was hard. My friend Zach helped me out a lot. I was like, he was a pilot in the military, and I'm like, okay, you understand like stepping away from something for a bit that's like that you're passionate about. And he was like, you got to follow your heart, like what you just said.
Always.
It was a struggle to figure out though.
Yes, because then you're like, which part of my heart am I listening to?
But I can go back next year.
Exactly.
We're planning it. I'm trying to
love it.
Make sure that I at least keep up on it so that next year I'll come back just like
ready to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. Any final thoughts that you want to share with our audience?
I do want to say thank you to my cousin Jules for introducing me to you.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Isn't she? She's
the sweetest.
She's a pusher, man. Yeah. She is. Yeah. In the best possible way. She loves her family, and she's always there for all of us. And so it was really cool. She thinks of these kind of things, right? And so she connected you and I. So I have to say thank you to her.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. Another thing that like I just want to make sure that I got across is that, I believe that the people that are pushing this, I want to believe that at least the ones that we're seeing, maybe not the ones high up, maybe they have a ulterior agenda,
right?
Okay, like maybe they want to develop the land, or maybe they want all the farms to go into the corporate farms, because to us, like that's what it seems like. This may be being pushed by the big ag that you hear about.
Yep.
Because where their little ag is their biggest competitor,
right?
We take money out of the corporate pocketbook every day.
Absolutely.
And I think I want to believe that the people that are pushing this want those same things.
Yeah.
I want to believe that the ones that we're seeing don't think, hey, let's shut these down so it can go to corporate America. Like,
right.
I want to think that they want the small farms, that they want the animals to be taken care of, that they want to have the animals treated well, like we do every day, interacting with them.
Yeah.
And that they want our local food systems and things like that.
Right.
And in talking to them, it does seem like they do. And so maybe we can open up some communications there and figure out how we can make positive change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of negative change.
Yeah.
And I might get blasted by the whole rest of the agriculture community for saying that. But
I think it's a good point that there's people that probably do want the same thing on the other side, and it's communicating.
I really think that they do. And I think that the only way, I think that right now, in the day and age that we are right now, things are so divided.
Mm-hmm.
And like, thank God, Measure J is like nonpartisan. It's bringing so many people together.
Yes.
I'm thanking these people for bringing this up because we're talking to people that we never would have.
Great point.
Yeah. And so like, I feel like that conversation needs to be extended and like, you know what, let's open up the conversation. What things can we do to support the small farms?
Yeah.
Not do better, because I think that we do things pretty darn well.
For the community to support you.
Mm-hmm. That part we're lacking time. And so I'm like, I can't say it enough. Like, if the community could get behind us, it would be massive. We could literally regenerate like all the old way of farming, like the small mentality and like the pasture raised and all the things that when we think of how farming is supposed to be, that's what we think about, right?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know how else to say it.
I feel like you're right though. That could be the silver lining of all of this.
I really like silver linings. I really believe, I believe that in life has so many negatives.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can find the silver linings and lean into those things, like that's what makes life enjoyable and it makes our journey a fun one.
Definitely. So what is the best like direct way that we can support your farm?
So like that's a funny concept, right? Because we don't sell direct to the public except for Moreda Family Farms. When I'm doing that, then we do. But there's not a way, like people don't understand that we don't do direct marketing. We are like how water companies get their water from the mountain and they're paying the mountain 2 cents on the $3 a bottle that they're charging. That's us. We're eating the 2 cents.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So it's really hard to support directly any of the family farms around here just because of the way that it's all structured.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it goes into packaging and processing instead of to the farmer's pockets. So the best way to support the family farms around here is to buy as small and as local as possible, to look at the labels, buy California milk, buy California food, right?
Right.
That's the best way to support it. And then to follow Moreda Family Farms on Instagram and interact with us. Like the interaction, I think that people get afraid to interact a bit, or don't want to take the time to interact. But if you do, then it supports the local farmers and we can get you in touch with other local farmers. That networking, I think that's the best way to support all the local farms.
The community, right?
The community, building the network with the farmers. We need it. We're craving it. The community is craving it. So look up Moreda Family Farms on Instagram. Look up Dairy Girl Diaries on Instagram. Do you? Look up community. It's food and family farms on Instagram.
Cool.
Look that up. Follow those. Send us comments. Tell us what you want to do to volunteer. We do projects with schools. I do hatching projects.
Amazing.
Yeah. We hatch little baby chicks in schools. We do things like that to get people. We've done field trips out at the farm to get kids introduced to the animals. Things like that. Those are things that we can do for the community that I don't even think that the community knows that they have access to. So
great.
Those are the ways to support.
Super helpful.
What you're doing is really, really cool.
Thank you.
And like you see value in Sonoma County.
Yeah.
And I think that so many of us that live here, like we see that value as well.
Totally.
And so what you're doing is you're shining a light on things that are near and dear to all of our hearts. Saying you're doing a heck of a good job at it too.
Yeah.
So this is an honor.
I love it. So thank you so much. Yeah, for today. I definitely want to have you back to hear more about racing. We can even anytime follow up after Measure Day and see where things are at. So
absolutely
make that happen.
We can see how my next season turns out.
It's amazing. It's gonna be your grand fact debut.
Yes, exactly. Save the family farms, right? I made friends with people I never thought I'd make friends with.
But I mean, right? Honestly, though,
that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
like let's do it.
That's amazing. I love that. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. It's very nice to meet you
too. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
If you like what you hear, please be sure to like and subscribe. Learn more about Sonoma County and all that we have to offer here.